God bless America. Hello, everybody. I am the Talk Radio Protege. This is the Protege program. Thank you all for joining me on this beautiful, beautiful Friday. This is the last video that you have to get through before you make it to the weekend, so hold on tight. We'll make this as quick and painless as possible. Now, this story comes from thehill.com, and it's very, very long, so I pulled what I think are the most important points to take away. If you'd like to read this column for yourself, just Google search "The Hill prominent lawyer sought donor cash for 2 Trump accusers." It should be the first link that pops up. So let's go through the highlights of this column and see what we can learn from this incident. So first of all, we have the key players. Number one is Lisa Bloom. She had an interesting clash of ideals in this story. Back in 2016, she was representing at least two, I guess I should say attempting to represent 2 women who are trying to make known allegations about sexual impropriety by then candidate Donald Trump. Just recently, she was defending Harvey Weinstein. She has since stopped representing him, but an interesting clash of ideals in those 2 career moves. Now, since we are talking about Miss Bloom looking for compensation for these women who are coming forward, it's important to note that she pointed out that donors reached out to her firm directly to help some of the women she represented. If the donors are reaching out to her, that's just a little bit better than her going out of her way to secure compensation for her clients. Now, I don't know why the text size changed here in the middle of this point, but based on texts and emails that were made known to The Hill, Ms. Bloom had a strong dislike of Donald Trump. In an email to the unnamed woman who is the primary source for The Hill in this story, she said that the unnamed woman's story was further evidence of what a sick predator then candidate Trump is. She's apparently the daughter of another attorney who's representing other accusers of President Trump. So there's definitely some pre-existing political bias against the president. Now, this would obviously make her more likely to find stories that are against the president. It makes her more likely to pursue this case to the end. And then, last point on Miss Bloom. Nearly from the beginning, Bloom made clear to the women that she would have to pay to the woman. Nearly from the beginning, Bloom made clear to the woman she would have to pay her law firm a commission on any fees the attorney arranged from media outlets willing to pay for the woman's story, according to a copy of a contract, as well as a text message sent to the woman. So, financial compensation was on the table from the beginning, and it was being made clear that Bloom was going to try to arrange for these women to receive compensation, and Bloom and her firm were going to receive a commission of that compensation. One of the women who is named in this story is Jill Harth. She was, and she's named because she's a friend of the woman who had come, who goes unnamed for the remainder of the column. Now, Jill Harth alleges that Trump sexually harassed her back in 1997. She withdrew the lawsuit under pressure back in 97, and this lawsuit came to light during the election cycle last year, and Ms. Harth went through somewhat of an ordeal as this lawsuit was rehashed in the media. And so she asked Bloom to represent her after hearing Trump describe her allegations against him as false, and she was a critic of Trump's. She states that she did not ask Bloom for money, but Bloom did arrange for a small payment from a GoFundMe account to be made to Hearth in October of 2016. The effort raised about $2,300. Bloom then arranged for a donor to make a larger contribution to help Hearth pay off the mortgage on her Queens apartment. I believe this was in the amount of about $30,000, and the mortgage, and that payment was made. The mortgage was extinguished on December 19th, 2016. Now we get to the unnamed woman. This, I think, is a very interesting case. She interacted with Bloom on from October until right before the election in November. And she was a friend of Miss Hearth, and both of these women have told The Hill that Bloom never asked them to make any statements or allegations except what they believed to be true. And then there were more texts and emails that indicate Bloom had a strong dislike of Trump. Documents also show that Bloom's efforts to get alleged victims of sexual assault or harassment to come out as Trump intensified as Election Day 2016 approached. And this is important. This demonstrates that there was a strong political focus during the time that Bloom was trying to represent these women. The effort was to get these stories out before Election Day. And this message exchange, I think, is interesting. From Bloom: give us a clear sense of what you need and we'll see if we can get it. I'm scared, Lisa, said the unnamed woman. I can't relocate. I don't like taking other people's money. Bloom responded, okay, let's not do this then. We're just about out of time anyway. Now, why would there be a timeline for getting this story about candidate Trump into the media and into the public sphere? The only reason is it to prevent Trump from being elected. And then, remember, this exchange takes place a week before Election Day, and Bloom says, we're just about out of time. Now, the response from the woman from the anonymous woman is, what does time have to do with this? Time to bury Trump. You want my story to bury Trump for what? Personal gain? Personal gain, question mark. See, this is why I have trust issues. And this is interesting because this unnamed woman is a supporter of Trump, associated with lawyers, friends, and associates of the future president. She made a request in August, she made a request for the unnamed woman to delete a August 2015 Facebook post about supporting Trump. And this unnamed woman said she would rather have Trump in office than Hillary. So that explains to me the outburst by the unnamed woman, why she was so outraged that there was a timeline for her story to be conveyed to the media. And she seems to be very upset that Miss Bloom is trying to use her story to simply to destroy Trump's political chances. Now, the initial reason that she talked to Bloom was in support of Hearth. She says that when Bloom mentioned potential compensation, when Bloom's mention of potential compensation became more frequent, the woman said she tried to draw out the lawyer to see how high the offer might reach and who might be behind the money. So that seems interesting. The woman in question seemed to be interested in why she was being offered financial incentives, or who might be trying to fund these bad stories against Trump. She said she supported Trump in 2016 and that she had no resentment about the early 90s events because Trump stopped it as soon as she asked him. She said she agreed to come forward, and I believe this is and I think this is in relation to simplythehill.com, only after she became disgusted to learn this past October that Bloom had agreed to work in defense of Weinstein. So the unnamed woman tells her story to The Hill because because Bloom not only attempted to represent her and Jill Harth on the Trump sexual misconduct allegations, but now she's trying to defend Harvey Weinstein from allegations. And here's somewhat of a timeline of the escalating financial offers. The woman said Bloom initially offered $10,000 donation to the woman's favorite church, and she said, please keep the donation offer confidential except to your pastor. So Bloom is aware of how damaging financial exchanges are going to make these allegations look, but she's willing to make them anyway. By early November, Bloom's offers of money from donors had grown to $50,000 to be paid personally to her, not just to a church anymore, and then even higher. The woman responded that she was impressed with the new offer of $100,000. This happened on November 3rd, and she intended to ask for more than $100,000. The figure jumped to $200,000 in a series of phone calls with Bloom that week. According to the woman, the support was promised to be tax-free and also included changing her identity and relocating, according to documents and interviews. Now, I would like to just try and break down a little bit what this means and what implications this have for the future. Now, first of all, we can see that Lisa Bloom is someone with an axe to grind against Trump. She was headhunting for accusers and even willing to pay for the stories. Financial compensation is on the table from the word go. And in my opinion, this taints future allegations against President Trump. There's going to be questions in the air in the future. What financial compensation are these women receiving? Are they receiving payment to make false allegations against the president? This is something that's going to cast doubt in the minds of most, I would say most Trump supporters from now until he leaves office. I don't think this story will do anything to persuade his opponents, the people that are fiercely against him. It might do something in the eyes of the people that aren't ardently in either camp. I think this will definitely sway people that aren't ardent Trump haters away from believing allegations in the future. It appears to me, just based on the information revealed in this column, that Bloom's efforts to reveal these allegations of sexual impropriety were 100% political. There was no desire by Lisa Bloom to pursue these allegations beyond the election. And I don't think that means, I think that means there's no desire from Miss Bloom to even reveal the truth. She simply wants President Trump destroyed. So any allegations that are represented by Lisa Bloom in the future will come under question, will be suspect. And I think that the unnamed woman's account gives us some insight into the mind of women being offered money for their criminal/sexual allegations. You know, she said she initially wanted to show support for her friend, for Miss Hatch, but as the financial incentives came forward, it became less about supporting Jill Hatch and more about drawing Lisa Bloom into offering as much money as possible and possibly even revealing the source of the funding. So, you know, all in all, I think a intriguing, not really a blockbuster or bombshell revelation, but definitely something that will cast doubt on future allegations that are brought to bear against President Trump. Any allegations represented by Lisa Bloom now have doubt cast on them, at least in my mind. Any and all allegations, you know, I already had doubt in my mind for sexual misconduct allegations brought against Republican candidates, especially those that were blown up and harped upon endlessly by the media and the Democrats. This brings even more doubt into my mind. With the midterms coming in 2018 and the recent defeat of Roy Moore, basically by sexual misconduct allegations, I think that this column gives us good reason to have more than a healthy dose of skepticism and questioning in regards to future sexual misconduct allegations. I think we're in for a bombastic and, quite frankly, terrifying mid-season or midterm elections next year. It's definitely going to require that everybody that is able turn out and vote for the candidate of your choosing, obviously. But if you're taking advice from me, voting on the candidates that are going to implement the Trump agenda. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, but before you go, I hope that you'll leave a like if you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications so that you don't miss Monday's video. That's when we'll be picking up again, following closely the news cycle. The tax bill coming out of committee goes back to the Senate and the House. If it passes the Senate and the House this time, it's being implemented. There will be no stopping it if it gets passed. So make sure you subscribe. You won't want to miss those videos. Again, thank you for watching. Until next time, have a great weekend, and God bless.